Hello, welcome to Christina's Knitting Catch-Up, episode 2 in 2023. This is October now, and I've got a few things to show you that I didn't get around to showing you last time, and a few new things. So I'll start with the elephant in the room, which is my Alpenglow jumper. So let me stand up and show you. There it is. Lovely Alpenglow jumper. And I actually finished this quite a long time ago, back in February, I think, but I was never happy with the length of it. I made it, I think, even a little bit longer than in the pattern because I wanted it to wear with pants. But I was never happy with how long it was. It always sort of seemed to just skim the top of my high-waisted jeans, and I just wanted it to go over the jeans. So I would wear it sometimes, but not very much through winter. Also, I was pregnant when I finished making it, so I couldn't really accurately try it on. Like with a huge baby bump, you don't know how long things are going to be when the baby comes out. So I made this back in February, and I just last week I ripped out to here. Well, I guess I ripped out to here, to just above the ribbing, and I knit 2 more repeats of the colour work body, and then I did the ribbing again. I did the ribbing shorter. I just used the same yarn that I used more of the blue yarn, dark blue yarn, but I used the same amount of the coloured yarn, and this is what I ended up with. So it's really only 5-6 centimeters longer than it was, but that is enough. So now it's still a cropped jumper, but it's not as cropped as it was. And I literally finished this an hour ago, and I just steamed it with an iron. That's how I block a lot of things, is I just steam them, and it's good to go. It's all looks perfect now. So I'll talk about the yarn. This yarn, I use a few different yarns here. Gosh, I can't even remember what the blue yarn is. Bellissimo is the blue yarn. It's all 5-ply, or roughly 5-ply, sport weight yarn. So this was a yarn called Bellissimo in a navy blue. The light blue here is Quince & Co. Lark, I think, in Delft colour. And I really love this. I made a little jumper for my baby Frederick in this blue, different base, but same. Whatever the 5-ply Quince & Co. Merino is what this is. This pink is actually 2 yarns held together. It's a 4-ply Bendigo Woolen Mills, ballerina pink, held together with a ballerina pink mohair silk. And I'll just show you the sleeve so you can see the fluffy halo there. And the color changing yarn is the yarn, what's that muck? Is the yarn as written in the pattern. It is Spin Cycle dyed in the wool 5-ply color changing amazing barber pole yarn, and I love this yarn so much. The jumper used up 1 and a little bit skeins, which is what I expected. So I have most of 1 skein left. They're only 50 grams. So I'll just show you this again because it's so great. I just really loved working with this color changing yarn. I found it so enjoyable. I know there's lots of other yarns that do it, but Spin Cycle is known to be a special one. And I bought it on D-Stash on Ravelry, so I didn't have to pay $50 a skein, Australian, thank goodness, plus shipping. I bought it from someone in Australia, I think, and I got 2 skeins the same colorway. I think another thing with Spin Cycle yarn is that even within the same colorway, sometimes the yarns can be quite different because they're 2-ply, and each ply changes color at a different rate. So you can have, you get this color combination thing happening. Anyway, that's my Alpenglow, and now that it's a bit longer, I'm going to wear this a lot, I think. I'm really, really happy with it. So that's my latest finished jumper, and I've got a bunch of other jumpers to show you as well. So I'll start with something old. I showed you last time the baby blanket I made for my boy. It was in a rusty red color, and it's called the Sleeping Beauty baby blanket. A lovely plain stockingette square with cables and lace around the edge. And I love that it's stocking stitch in the middle, because then it's nice and snuggly. You can actually keep the baby warm, and you know, you don't have the wind blowing through it if you're wrapping them up against the cold. So I also made an identical one for my daughter when she was in my tummy, and that was 2020 I made that. She's the elder. And so I think it used 2 skeins of 8-ply Bendigo Woolen Mills luxury yarn, and they come in 200-gram balls, so quite a lot of yarn. But I used 1 and a bit balls of that, and I had all of this yellow yarn left over. So I can't remember what I did first, but I think the first thing I did was I made myself a cardigan. And this cardigan, I obviously used more than a bit of 1 skein of yarn for this. So I think I bought another 2 skeins. So I had 2.5. I'll just show you this cardigan. This is another They Might Be Giants t-shirt. I told you I'd get through them all. This one's Mink Car. Mink Car. So this cardigan is the Rosa cardigan. I forget who it's by, but I'll link to it in the description. And I wear this all the time. It's a V-neck. Might look a bit funny with my t-shirt, but it's a V-neck cardigan. I made it longer than in the pattern, and I think I added in waist shaping where there isn't any in the pattern. So I just found the underarm line and did some decreases to the waist. But yep, it fits pretty well. It'll fit even better when my bust size goes down a bit. But I wear this all the time. And the detail about this is the raglan increases are made with yarn overs in this pretty kind of lacy leaf pattern. And it's at the back too. So that's what I made, obviously longer and a little bit different. But I made that out of the leftovers from Lydia's baby blanket. So I think I used 2 and a little bit skeins for this. So I had a little bit left over. So I thought, well, I don't want to just throw that away. So I made Lydia a cardigan as well. And this cardigan is the little version of the Rosa. So it also has the lovely raglan lace increases. This one, it's a little bit different to this one in that this is not a V-neck, it's a round neck. And I was never satisfied with the way the neckband sat, really. I was never happy with that. With this one, you pick up the stitches and knit a neckband, so you have control. This one you cast on at the neckband and knit down. So once that's done, it's done, and you can't really change it without ripping the whole thing out or doing some kind of jumper surgery that I wasn't prepared to do. So I was never happy with the way the neck gapes. It kind of seems like a really weirdly big neck. Anyway, she wore it for a year or so, and then it was getting small, and I still had some yarn left. So what did I do? I ripped out the cardigan and I knitted it longer again. So I unpicked the button band and I saved all this yarn and I undid the whole thing and I ripped it all out and I knitted it again in a size larger and with longer sleeves, of course, so it still fits her. So I've knit this twice. I've knit this once. Actually, I think I knit this down to the bust and then ripped it out and knitted in a smaller size. Anyway, I've knit with this yarn a lot, And then I still had a tiny bit left over, so I knit it into some color work on a jumper I showed you last week of Frederick's. So that's the story of this yarn and how I keep having a little bit left over and buying more and making something new. So this yarn, just to be clear, is Bendigo Woolen Mills 8-ply Luxury in the colorway Curry. And I remember when I first was choosing Lydia's baby blanket color before she was even born, my dad said that's a good color for a baby blanket because it's the same color as baby poo, which is true. I don't think she pooed on it though. Anyway, so that's a bit creased, isn't it? Needs a bit of steam. I washed them yesterday because we want to take it away with us. We're going away in a couple of weeks. So those are the 3 things. I didn't show you the baby blanket, but it's the same as the baby blanket I showed you last week for Frederick, except it's this color. Same yarn, different color. So those are my Rosa cardigans. Now, I've got 2 more jumpers to show you and then I might wrap up because I've got limited time today. The first one I'm going to show you is called, well, it is the Flax jumper. And you probably know about Flax. It's a free pattern by Tin Can Knits. And a lot of people have knit this jumper. It's always one of the hottest patterns on Ravelry. So it's really fun to see all the different versions. It's very customizable. Customize your yarn. I think they might even have 2 gauges of this pattern. They have different lengths. I think they have different fit. Anyway, this is my Flax and it is sparkly. So this is knit, oh gosh, I'm going to sound like a broken record. This is knit in Bendigo Woolen Mills 4-ply Luxury, not the 8-ply, the 4-ply Luxury in, it's not navy, it's called Junior Navy, I think, this color. And it's also held triple actually. It's held with a mohair silk blend. I can't remember the brand, but they're all pretty similar, I think. And a sparkle yarn, which I also forget the brand of, but I bought them together on Etsy. I found a seller in like Italy or somewhere. Sorry, I have dirty hands, been dying. A seller in Italy or somewhere who was selling both the mohair and the sparkle yarn together. So I bought that, and this is my label that I sewed in. This is the back. The labels are from Katie and the Machine, I think. Katie? Someone in the Machine. And I sew them into the back of most of my jumpers, just so, literally so I can tell which is the back. Because unless it's a cardigan, it can be hard to tell what the back is, and it's very annoying to have to take off your jumper again. Anyway, I first made this and I thought this is awfully itchy, but you know what? I'm used to it now. It's fine. It is so sparkly. You know, when I was knitting it, I was worried it wasn't sparkly enough, but I think that is very sparkly. I'll put it on for you. So this is not a cropped length, but it's not a long jumper. A little bit cropped maybe. And I think it is so classy. Looks nice with a collared shirt underneath. Looks nice with no shirt underneath. There's my jumper. So this has a panel of garter stitch down the sleeves, as you can sort of see there, down the outside of the sleeves. And really there's not much to say about this jumper except that it was very straightforward to knit. The pattern is of course really good, as you'd expect with Tin Can knits. They're really good. I love the way I sparkle in the sunlight when I wear it. Get lots of compliments on this jumper. The sparkle yarn is quite splitty and does tend to unravel a little bit if you break it, which is annoying, but the mohair, it really softens the garment. So if it was just the sparkle and the merino, it wouldn't work. It would be too cutty, because these little, I think they're called paillettes, these little sequins, they are a little bit sharp. So they will scratch you a tiny bit, but the mohair really makes it bearable, wearable, nice. Anyway, that's my flax. I love it. It's very easy to wear with jeans. And the last thing I've got to show you is what I was working on last time, which is the vintage 1970s pattern. I finished this jumper, and I haven't even put a label in this. It's a little bit more obvious which is the front and back with this one, but there is my beautiful 1970s jumper made from Peyton's Bluebell yarn, which is the called for yarn. It's just fantastic that they still make Peyton's Bluebell and they still have patterns for it as well. So this is it. It was bottom up pieced, which I found very stressful because you don't know if it's going to fit until it's all finished. Like the very last thing you do is put it all together at the top and knit the neckband. So like you didn't even know if it was going to fit right until the neckband is finished. And the neckband is folded over. You can see I did a kind of stretchy stitch there. And it's got a lot of beautiful cables at the bottom there, and they're on the sleeves too. The annoying thing is that the sleeves are probably about 1 centimetre or 2 too long, but I'm just pretending that that is not the case. And I find the fit a little bit strange here. Just here it seems to gather a little bit, but you know what? I think it's great. It really worked. Apart from this funny, I don't know if maybe all raglan jumpers do that, and I'm just a little bit sensitized to it because I was concerned about the fit. But there you go. My beautiful 1970s cabled ribbed jumper that took me 1.5 years to make. So that's what I've been working on. Since I've got that Alpenglow off my needles again and this off my needles, I really don't have anything big I'm working on currently. The news is that my family and I are going to Japan for a little holiday. We're going on the 3rd and coming back on the 14th. So we'll be away for 11 days and we're going to Tokyo and Kyoto and then coming home. So it's going to be me, my husband, my 2 children, and my mum, which is so exciting. Mum has never been to Japan. Charles and I have been, I think, 4 times. It's quite easy to, relatively, I mean, it's still a long way, but it's relatively easy to go to Japan from Australia because it's kind of in the same time zone, roughly. It's a little bit further west than I am, but it's 2 hours time difference, so it's really nothing much. So it's really a lot easier to go to Japan for a holiday than it is to go to Europe or America, where the time difference really messes you up. So we've been to Japan a bunch of times. We really like it there, and we wanted to take Mum. So that's what we're going to do in 1.5 weeks. We're leaving Friday week, and I've been really narrowing down my packing, trying to get everything in one bag, one small bag as possible, because you know we have to take stuff for the kids and everything. So I'm trying to really minimize my packing. So I'm going to take this jumper, and I am tossing up now whether to take my flax or to take my Alpenglow. I couldn't have taken the Alpenglow if it was the shorter length, but now that it's a bit longer, I don't know what to do. It's not going to be super cold, so maybe the Alpenglow is a better option than this, which is very warm with the mohair. So warm. So that is what's happening with my travel. My Etsy shop is not I suppose it's never closed, but there's nothing in it until I start putting stuff up. So there's one thing that has to happen before then. I've got the Yarralumla Uniting Church Arts and Crafts show, which runs every year, and I traditionally put stuff into it. I usually help, but it's while I'm away. But this year I'm going to put in all of my yarns that I've dyed. And when I come home from our trip, I'll see what didn't sell and I'll do some more stock, and then I'll put up my Etsy shop and people will be able to buy yarns from it. I went over and labeled everything for the show and it's fantastic. It's one of these shows where I don't actually have to be there. I just label the yarns, it gets sold for me, and then I get my money at the end and the church keeps a commission. And I'm actually on the committee for this show, and the church doesn't keep the money. We put it all to charities. So refugee charities and all sorts of good causes we put them to. So that's where the funds are going to go for that. 20% commission it is. So that is what's happening with my yarn. When I come back and get all that sorted out, I'll put it up in my Etsy shop and people will be able to buy it, that's exciting, you know. I've got some packaging ready. I've got everything under control now, I think. It's been a bit of a long road. It's very hard to do with kids as well. So anyway, that's a 20-minute update. I can hear my baby starting to fuss in the other room, so I'd better go and deal with him. Yeah, so have a lovely month. I'll probably do another podcast in November. And if you're here from Dr. Gemma's Cognitive Podcast, hello. This is me, Christina. Nice to see you. Have a great time at CFR if you're going, and I will talk to you all in about a month. Bye.